Determining author's purpose, along with some text structure. So the whole purpose of this power standard is so that we can determine an author's purpose and thereby analyze and critique their argument, their claim, their opinion, their point of view, their position, and their reason for writing a text. Because at the end of the day, an author's purpose is to affect you. It's to teach you so you can learn. It's to entertain you so you can enjoy. And it's to persuade you so you can change and form your own opinions. So some 3 key understandings. First thing, recognize that in analyzing and determining an author's purpose, we have to focus on the supporting details. They help explain the main or central ideas of the text that the author is writing. Key point number 2, we have to understand that some details are more important than others when supporting an author's purpose. Some details are very important, some details are unnecessary. And the third thing we must understand is that the tone of the piece must match the audience. So the intended audience and the purpose can affect the overall tone of the piece. Let's get started. Now, when we talk about author's purpose, we know that the authors write for 3 main reasons: to perform, to persuade, to inform, and to entertain. Now, regardless of which piece of the author's purpose pie the author is writing from, it all stems on the supporting details. So supporting details help explain the main idea of the text and also give you the author's reason for writing that text. So every good writer, in order to have a good informed audience, makes messages that are clear and strong. Now, these supporting details are facts, reasons, evidence, and examples that supports the author's main idea or his reason for writing. Now, there are 3 categories of supporting details. They're logical, empirical, and anecdotal. Now, at this point, you don't have this information in your notes, so you need to do one of 2 things. You need to write it in your very important notes section of your worksheet, or you need to go ahead and open up your interactive notebook and write this down, adding it to your notes. So go ahead and grab that now, because when you're done with this video, you will be required to show your new notes. So first, let's talk about logical supporting details. Logical is just facts and specific examples because they're logical. And so they appeal to a person's sense of common sense, reason, or logic. For example, buying a smartphone will allow you to have access to more information. That's common sense. That's logical. The second type is empirical. Empirical is research. So it's based on observations, statistics, surveys, studies, anything that makes your argument more trustworthy. So for example, research shows that the apps available for the Jet Setter 2000 phone provide users with more accurate data. Research, so again, something that can be proven. The last kind is anecdotal. Anecdotal is based on a single person's experience or their story. So it doesn't have to be something that's happened personal to you. It could just be something you've experienced or you know someone has experienced. So for example, excuse me, when my friend Alexandra and I used the phone, we were incredibly happy with the front-facing camera. So, and good writer uses all 3 or uses a combination of the 3 to better support their argument. Now, once again, so we want to make sure we understand. We have logical. That's like, for example, as we all know, that's logical. Empirical is research. Research shows that, or this statistic according to the survey, or according to the statistic. And then anecdotal, I know somebody who. So you want to decide which one you use. And the evidence the author uses is just going to strengthen the argument that he or she is making. So let's look at this text right here. It says, determine what kind of evidence the author is using in this paragraph below. So go ahead and pause me and read the text. Now that you've had a chance to read the text, go ahead and match each statement from the article with the type of evidence it represents. How'd you do? If you have these three in the correct spot, you're right on the money. The next thing we want to know in analyzing author's purpose is we want to understand that details are important. And some details are more important than others when supporting an argument in author's purpose. So you want to make sure that when you're reading an article, you're reading an argument, an opinion, or even a piece of fiction, you want to take into account how well the details and the evidence support that main purpose. So if there's a lot of evidence that doesn't relate to the main point or the claim, then the source is probably not going to be very reliable. And as a reader, you're going to get a little bored and you're going to want to take away from their argument. So let's look at important details versus non-important details. So here is an argument. Building lasting friendships is more work than people realize, but these friendships can be very rewarding. So that is this author's argument or claim, and it's regarding the topic of friendship. Now look at the 4 items below, and then coordinate them into important versus unimportant. So the average length of a friendship is 7 years. This is a very interesting point. However, it does not really support about building lasting friendships, because we're talking about that it's more work. So we don't really need to know about how long friendships last. I fight with my best friend all the time, but we become closer because of it. Building lasting friendships work. Fighting takes work. And then people respond better to stressful situations when they have the support of their friends. That also requires work. The last thing we want to focus on is the intended audience and purpose, and how you need to focus on that and how you write as far as the tone. Because remember, the tone is all about how the author's attitude is towards the subject, and that creates a certain mood in your reader. So when you have an argument, something that you're passionate about, something that you want to discuss, it's very, very important that you focus on the tone. You don't want to irritate someone to the point where they totally dismiss your argument. You kind of want to be in the middle. So let's think about recycling. Which of the examples below do you think an audience of non-recyclers will respond more favorably to? Argument 1 or argument 2? Read both arguments and then decide. So argument 1, recycling is important. If you don't recycle, you're killing the earth. You're contributing to disease and pollution. You're just a horrible person. Now, if I don't recycle, I'm be like, whoa, why are you attacking me? So I'm not even going to really reflect on your argument, because it's already put me in a bad mood. Versus argument 2, recycling has many positive effects on the earth. For example, it can combat disease and pollution by reducing greenhouse gases. Okay, so as a non-recycler, I'm like, okay, well, you're telling me some positive effects. That's pretty cool. So what I can do now is maybe listen to your argument logically and rationally. Now, also with determining author's purpose, and when you're crafting an argument, you want to make sure that you focus on text structure. So remember, reflect back on compare and contrast, problem solution, chronological, those types of text structures, because once you figure out your purpose and your reason, and then you get your supporting details, then it's all a matter of deciding how you want to structure or organize your text. Happy learning.